Thank you, everyone, for joining the DocShop Pro webinar this evening. A few housekeeping notes while folks are still getting set up and joining in and getting settled. Everyone is muted, and questions can be submitted as we go. You can utilize the chat throughout, and we'll be sending out some polls as well. We'll be sure to cover everything and circle back at the end. We'll answer some questions as we go. If there's anything we don't get to, we will definitely circle up and get to you before we wrap up for the night. This webinar will be recorded for future distribution, and for anyone that registered, you can always view the replay of the event, and we'll be posting it to the DocShop Pro YouTube channel as well. Tonight, we're going to be talking about cash products and ancillary services, how they can help boost revenue and profitability, provide a unique clinical value within a local market, and how the best implemented plans require a team approach. Leading us this evening is the one and only Cindy Pezza. But first, for those that are not familiar with DocShop Pro, DocShop Pro is a one-stop platform for your office. You can use our platform to cross-comparison shop for daily supplies. You can find ancillary products, capital equipment. You can utilize our partner programs for diabetic shoes and custom AFOs, or you can even find new patients. With our My Supply Manager, we can take the process of reordering supplies, including brand names, generics, across dozens of different vendors and manufacturers, something that's often an hours-long chore, and help you transform into something you can do in single-digit minutes. In fact, we even carry some of our competitors' products. Almost always, we can save you some money along the way. And with our inventory management system, we can help you track inventory, monitor par levels, even if you never order anything from our site. We're designed to be plug and play for workflow and staff changes at your office. All of this is why we're proud to collaborate with people like Cindy Pezza, working together to help support you, your staff, save money and time, and increase the bottom line. Now, before we kick this off, I wanted to say a few words about Cindy Pezza. Cindy began her career in specialty practice management in 2002, working in a multitude of capacities in a successful podiatry practice in South Shore area of Massachusetts. Years later, as the president and CEO of Pinnacle Practice Achievement, Cindy's continued to utilize this experience and expertise to promote development and implementation of structured systems and protocols in both the administrative and clinical aspects of practice, consulting with physicians and staff to improve the quality of patient care while significantly increasing practice revenue. Cindy travels nationally as a speaker and a program coordinator for state and national podiatric organizations, provides private office consulting for established and startup practices, offers online subscription programs, composes frequent articles and responses for podiatric journals and publications. We all see those in PM News, definitely. In 2020, Cindy was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, inducting her as the 14th non-podiatrist into the Podiatry Management Hall of Fame. That's really tremendous. At home, Cindy enjoys spending time with family and friends, participating as both student and instructor in fitness classes, and spoiling rescue dogs, which we might get to see make an appearance tonight in the webinar. Cindy, we're really thrilled to have you with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Greg. Yes, I did actually foster yet another dog last week, but she is happily adopted. So thank you. Tonight, we're going to cover a lot. And then, of course, at the end, there'll be time for questions. But some of the topics will be ethically maximizing cash products and ancillary services within your practice walls, choosing the products and treatments that work for your patient population, training and educating team members who will contribute to a higher quality of patient care, conveying confidence in your care plans and recommendations regardless of insurance coverage, and improving patient compliance rates while increasing revenue. So first, let's talk about what the pandemic has proven in most practices. In my experience, working with lots and lots and lots of practices, more than ever actually in the last year since the pandemic started, we found that quality over quantity prevails. So a lower total patient volume with a higher percentage of new patients and, quote, good conditions is a winning combination if executed methodically. This allows doctors and team members to focus on each encounter assuring that patients understand their diagnoses and are equipped with the tools necessary to speed the healing process. Patients who participate and believe in their treatment plans experience better results faster and happily refer friends and family, and that's kind of what it's all about. So in a nutshell, the benefits of in-office dispensing, this is not a new topic. We've been going over this for years, if not decades by now, but convenience plus compliance equals improved patient outcome and increased practice income. So just some of the products and services that you can offer, kind of the list is endless, but diabetic safe lotions, dry skin and fissure solutions, post-op kits, pads, gels, topical antifungal solutions and creams, topical analgesics, medical grade and custom orthotics, shower guards, digital alignment splints, approved shoes and sandals and slippers, foot rollers, stretching devices, topical wart solutions, cash pay wart treatments, socks, stockings with moisture wicking properties, neuropathy supplements, hyperhidrosis treatments, shoe and foot powders and sprays, topical scar treatments, compressive support stockings, healing sleeves, pain inflammation treatments like Shockwave, fungus pain and wart laser treatments, cosmetic nail improvement, and anything else you feel that your patients need as part of their structured care plans. I just felt like one of those really fast auctioneers. So your preferred products and services should be incorporated appropriately into nearly all of your treatment protocols. Otherwise, why do you have those products and services? So this would mean I'm talking to the doctors who have cases of expired products and a dusty laser machine sitting in the back of their office like a really expensive used car. So you know who you are, you don't have to raise your hand. The importance of scripting for team members. So all staff members involved in dispensing of products, devices, or services, whether it be cash or billable, need to be thoroughly, that word is capitalized, trained on how to properly instruct, fit, and explain the benefits of utilization. They should also be thoroughly trained to understand the most common conditions and the corresponding care plans. If patients don't understand the whys involved in care plans, they are far less likely to be compliant. So who do you think they ask to explain further when you, the doctor, leave the treatment room? The answer is your staff. So let's think back to second grade, because in second grade, you really believed that your teacher, Mrs. Anderson, that was my second grade teacher's name, lived at school and only ate from the cafeteria. You thought that she existed off of those fake chicken patties and white milk from a carton. So make and take the time to train your team members, because just as you looked at your teacher in second grade as not a real person, that's how your patients view you as the physician. Patients view your staff members as real people. So you should make and take the time to train them thoroughly. So something to consider, ask yourself, find out when you go back to the office tomorrow. Do your medical assistants understand, and can they clearly explain to patients why you recommend to use an antifungal, antimicrobial shoe spray in combination with topical nail and skin solutions when treating fungal infections, or why you recommend wearing a night splint following the diagnosis of plantar fasciitis? So take some time and review the whys, because it will make a huge difference. Closing the deal. So I have a lot of practices who've said to me, well, why does my front desk girl, no matter if she's 25 or 65, she's the front desk girl, why do I have to teach her about these products and services? She doesn't have anything to do with patient care. The answer is because she's the one that closes the deal. So front office check-in, check-out team members, they are also instrumental in improving patient compliance. So go back to your office and pick your top 5 dispensed products and see if every member of your team can explain what it is, how it works, how to use it or apply it, the cost, can they give a testimonial? Also do this with the most commonly dispensed DME items, making sure all staff members are adequately prepared to dispense with confidence. You don't want somebody fumbling around dispensing a figure 8 brace to your patient. Then also try it with your 5 least dispensed products and services and find out why no one is talking about them. Probably because no one knows they're there or that you have them, and they most likely don't know how they work. So here's an example. So whatever you're offering in your office as your dispensed or your recommended antifungal nail solution, here would be a kind of Q&A to go through with your staff. So what is it? It's a topical treatment for toenail fungus. How does it work? The active ingredient, tolnaftate, is delivered in an oil base which penetrates the nail to reach the source of the infection. How do I use it and how often? Apply the solution to the base of the nail and brush up towards the tip twice daily when the feet are clean and dry. When will I see results? Results vary depending on the severity of infection. It is most important to use it consistently and keep your regular appointments with the doctor so he or she can monitor your progress. Toenails grow at a slower rate than fingernails, and toenails with fungal infections may grow even slower. After a few months, the doctor will be able to determine if the solution is improving your condition. Money-back guarantees show your patients that you believe in your products, and you should not be doing the refunding. So it's good to partner with vendors who provide money-back guarantees, because it's very risky for a patient to take a prescription to the pharmacy, have it not be covered at all or fall into a very high copay tier, and have it not work, have an adverse reaction to it. They won't get their money back. But you should pick products that have less risk involved. So 2 very important phrases, and I try to go over this and over this and over this with doctors and staff. The products and the services you provide should be medical grade and physician only. So here is a sample script for a medical grade orthotic or insert, instructing the patient on the break-in process. So it's imperative that you take your time to properly break in and adjust to your medical grade orthotics or inserts, whichever you prefer as the verbiage there. Begin by removing the liner from both shoes and replacing them with the inserts. Wear your orthotics for 1 to 2 hours the first day and increase wear time gradually for a period of 1 to 2 weeks. By gradually increasing wear time, your body will more easily adjust to the substantial support and control of your orthotics. Depending on activity level and the type of medical orthotic or insert the doctor has recommended, you can expect to feel significant relief from foot, knee, hip, or back pain for months. So maybe they wouldn't stick exactly to this script, but as they read it more, as they learn more, as they understand more, they will come up with their own little spiel, just as you have over the years for all your common conditions. Additional helpful patient tips. You want to train your team to watch their language. I don't mean cussing in the office, although they shouldn't do that either, but no one wants to pay for pain. But patients will work through discomfort, achiness, and fatigue if they expect it as part of the break-in experience. So you want to train them to say something like, it's completely normal to experience discomfort or mild achiness in the feet or legs while your body adjusts to wearing the devices. Remember, these are medical grade orthotics and much more substantial than over-the-counter or off-the-shelf products. Should you have concerns, please don't hesitate to call the office. So it's setting up realistic expectations, but not necessarily great to hear a staff member say, well, if you wear them too many hours the first day, you might be in pain, but that's okay. So pain, no good. Achiness, mild discomfort, fatigue, that's acceptable. So now we move to the power or the danger of Googling that. So most of your patients have tried something to remedy their condition or symptoms before making an appointment. This results in a higher expectation for instant gratification. We all want that quick fix. They look to you, the foot and ankle expert, for a solid treatment plan that works. The average patient is a savvy shopper. So if you don't have what they need to get better, specific recommendations or offerings of quality products and proven treatments, they will move on. And even if you have what they need, be aware of the products you offer and their availability online, because patients will seek to find your products elsewhere at a discounted rate. Some of you are probably scrolling through Amazon right now, making a shopping list. But the best way to avoid uncomfortable situations like I can get it on Amazon cheaper and it will be at my door tomorrow is to customize whenever possible and provide your patients physician only and medical grade. There's those two terms again, products available exclusively through your practice. So go ahead, go on Amazon and search for yourself and see, even if the product found online is not the same as what you offer, patients will be suspicious of you if they find something similar. Okay, so here's some Pure Stride, quote, medical grade orthotics. And there we go, the second one in. It says $18.50 and it's free prime delivery probably the next day. So tell me that you're offering your medical grade orthotics for more than $18.50. I hope so, but a patient can buy them right on Amazon and have them the next day for $18.50. So be very mindful of the brand names that you put in your office. So why would you put yourself in that position if it could be avoided? So these are, I'm going to say by far, my favorite medical grade inserts. They are from a company called Footsteps, and I've worked with them for years. They are actually made in the United States of America, which not many companies can say. Nowhere on the box or on the insert does it advertise for anyone but you and your practice. And there's even instructions on the back of the box for proper break-in and what to expect, written by yours truly, just in case the patient wasn't listening as your assistant goes through it with them in the office. So I highly recommend Footsteps and logoing anything you can with your name, because when they need to buy another pair, guess what? They're going to go back to John White DPM and get another pair. If you've been in practice for a while, you've seen it all. Like I said before, patients usually try something else or a multitude of at-home remedies before they come to see you, like patients that use Vicks VapoRub to treat their fungal toenails. Well, yep, it does something. It eats away at their toenails. The fungal infection's still probably there underneath, but for $6.02, they can get it on Amazon, right? So I want you to recommend and dispense with confidence. Choose the companies and vendors that want to be your partner, not your competitor. Vendors with integrity that will help you succeed. That's hard to find nowadays. Not the ones that push hard to sell, take your money, and then leave you out in the cold, like with promised marketing and training and continued support, followed by them dropping off the face of the earth and that rep no longer works for that company. So I want you to combine products that complement and improve outcomes for common conditions faster, and offer discounts on packages. Like here is a kit that we put together and we called it the at-home treatment for infections of the skin and nails. Okay, so you just logo it with your practice name, and we explain why at our practice. We understand you have lots of options when it comes to treating unsightly toenails, as well as other conditions such as athlete's foot, dry and itchy feet, sweaty feet, whatever you want to call it. So we are explaining why we want you to treat the nails, we want you to treat the skin, we want you to treat the shoes, because otherwise, why bother? So just as an aside, women especially do love to save. So they will spend more to save, just as a little tip in case anyone didn't realize that. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Although some patients really like the moisturizer that you have carried since your father started the practice in 1958, most want to see that you are staying current with improved products and modern technology. You can always stock a handful of the, ABC moisturizer for the 2 patients who refuse to purchase anything else, but for the rest, proudly announce when you have discovered something better than what you previously offered. For example, this is a true example that's happened very recently here. So many of my practices had been successfully utilizing a CBD muscle rub offered by a company named Quanta. I myself really liked that product, but then, as happens a lot of times when one company is acquired by a larger entity, it caused some major changes when Quanta was bought out to the product formulation and availability. So now it's being sold direct to patients at prices that were previously offered to just my practices, which is not good. So After presenting the situation with my practices and introducing them to a new and, in my opinion, vastly superior product, and we got samples, as we always do, many made the switch and are glad they did. So the new, my new preferred product, and sometimes I say, yeah, it's my new preferred product because I like to keep up with products as they come out. Extreme RX, and it's only available to physicians, will soon be available through DocShop Pro. So I'm trying to take a lot of my favorite vendors who aren't currently being offered through DocShop and making some introductions. So it is truly a one-stop shop for everyone. So let's switch gears and talk about some frequently asked questions and situations and how they're handled in your practice. So if you have never eavesdropped on your staff members, may I suggest doing so soon, okay? You want to hear what the answers are to commonly asked questions by your patients. So here's an example. After the doctor recommends his or her in-office dispense urea cream, okay, the patient asks, can't the doctor just write me a prescription for that so my insurance will cover it? Every member of your staff should be trained to respond in this way. Well, yes, he or she can. However, we find that this type of prescription, urea creams, are often not covered. And when they are, they can be very expensive, applying to deductibles or falling into a high copay tier. When you go to the pharmacy to pick it up, if it's more expensive than the medical grade product we carry, please come back and purchase it here, as ours comes with a money back guarantee. And then you leave it alone and you walk away. Okay, you and your staff members should not be chasing patients around like used car salesmen. Okay, you always have the products, they're always there, they're always available whenever the patient is ready. No pressure. You let them make up their own educated minds. And what about this one? The patient says, I just searched online for that night splint thing that the doctor wants me to wear. The girl up front told me it's covered by my insurance, but will be applied towards my deductible. So I'll end up owing something like $140. I can get one from Amazon for $21.99 with free one-day shipping. That's pretty tough to argue with, I would say, but I suggest having a script in place that blames it on the big bad insurance companies whenever possible. So the staff member might say, in order to be a supplier of durable medical equipment, we must follow strict guidelines as dictated by insurance carriers. The devices must also meet certain criteria in order to be dispensed by a supplier, which is us, our practice. And unfortunately, we have no control over the allowed amount for each specific code. If you choose to order a device on your own, we cannot be sure that it will be as effective or even meet the description as provided online when it's delivered to you. We've all had that happen. We've clicked on something on Amazon, and when it arrives, it is not the same product. So whenever possible, it's you and your patients against the big bad insurance companies, because in reality, it really is. And then you let the patient, again, make a decision. So now let's move on to something else that really does tie into this entire subject, but something we do every day. We all do it, we judge. And the title here says, how can I not judge a book by its cover when the cover is the first thing I see? So just understand something, and I've had these conversations with many practices over the years in demographics that weren't as desirable as one might like to practice in. But I have to explain to the doctors that, look, people and patients, because patients are people, they have money for what is important to them. Okay, women spend lots of money turning their hair, lots of different colors, and doing their nails. And men spend lots of money playing golf and on motorcycles, and then all of the accessories that go on their motorcycles, like Harley Davidson, the HD stands for $100, because you can't buy anything that's not at least $100 as even an accessory. Tattoos, do not judge your patients that come in covered head to toe in tattoos, because tattoos are very expensive. So again, people have money for what's important to them. So the secret is offering with confidence and knowing that your medical grade and physician only products and formulas are incorporated into your treatment protocols because they work. It's not a big money-making scheme. It's because they work. They're exclusive to your practice. They are not readily available online. And if they are, at least your price is competitive so that convenience wins and they purchase it from you. So speaking of treatment protocols, they should be written comprehensively, meaning including every step of common patient visits from evaluation through examination and treatment plan options. All treatment plan options, don't hold anything back in the initial visit, meaning if you have highly effective products and services, let your patient know and allow them to make an educated decision based on their desire to improve their activity level and their ability to commit to homework between visits. So written treatment protocols should include all of your recommended products and services and then be catered to the needs of the individual patient. So in my resource library, I do have protocol menus with all of your choices for all of the common conditions the podiatrists treat. So here's just one little snapshot of the treatment options section of an initial heel pain visit. Here's all of the options. Again, you do not have to offer all of these on visit 1, but these are the choices. If the patient states they have significant morning pain or pain upon standing, a posterior night splint is prepped and fit and instructions provided at the end of the visit. I put little keys in here. So C means compliance, means that if we're going to bill it to insurance, we have to have the patient acknowledgement form or proof of delivery signed by the patient, witnessed by a staff member, copied and given to the patient on the way out. MA means a medical assistant would do the prepping and the fitting. Discuss pulse wave therapy as an option for treatment beginning to during today's visit. SP means self-pay, and DPM means the doctor would be discussing that. Discuss reparal healing sleeve to be worn alone or in combination with the medical grade inserts, brace, or walking boot. That's an SP for self-pay, and the medical assistant will be dispensing that. Dispense topical analgesic of choice, Extreme RX or Sub-Zero. SP, self-pay, medical assistant is dispensing. Dispense medical grade orthotics as transition to custom devices. Footsteps, self-pay, medical assistant is to give the verbal instructions, how to break them in, remind the patient that some fatigue is normal, or maybe you want to cast for custom orthotics if patient coverage is determined or prior authorized to be performed following the visit, or the patient is amendable to it at that initial visit. Or maybe you're just discussing the process of casting or scanning for custom orthotics at the next visit. Maybe you're going to apply a removable low dye strapping. Maybe you're going to dispense a cam walker if the pain level is intense or a stress fracture is suspected. Maybe you're going to write a prescription for an NSAID. Maybe a prescription for a tapered steroid like a Medrol dose pack at your discretion. And if the pain level is 7 or above, immediately performed intrafascial injection. So there's some good options there. That's just visit 1. But I'm going to tell you, try not to overwhelm your patients. Given the fact that patients only absorb 25%, this is probably at best, of what you say, and then insurance companies only seem to want to pay for one thing or service at a time lately, it's important that you not overload your patients with information and treatment options. Narrow down your recommendations in order of what will provide the quickest road towards improving their condition. Patients do not want to feel as if they are being sold products or services that did not relate to the encounter. If you have a patient that comes in with a wart and leaves paying a deposit for custom orthotics, please let me know that the patient was actively a part of that conversation that turned from wart to biomechanics. So you need to know what you're walking into, right, as the doctor before you go into that treatment room. So staff is key here. Front office, reception staff should be trained to record detailed reason for visit in the scheduler. And back office medical assistants should be trained to perform a detailed and telling evaluation. Evaluations always include the basics. NL-DOCAT. Remember NL-DOCAT? You learned it like the first day of podiatry school, I think. Nature, location, duration, onset, characteristics, aggravating and alleviating factors, and treatments. A role play training works the best to train in thorough NL-DOCAT evaluation. So I love to do this with some of my practices. I play the patient, and I'm a terrible patient, and I'm very easily distracted, and I'm not compliant, and I'm not going to listen to the doctor, and I play on my phone the whole time, and I don't tell the whole story. I don't tell the whole truth, and basically I'm like a real patient, and I make them pull out all of the information that the doctor needs to form a diagnosis and treatment plan. And I teach them how to redirect the easily distracted patient, how to stick to the script, how to get the details that we need and weed out all the unrelated stuff. So we want to do the basic NL-DOCAT always, but we also want to train the staff with some specific questions based on the chief complaint. The example here would be heel pain. So after I get through, describe the pain, how long have you had it, did it come on suddenly? Then I want to ask that initial or that specific question. Do you have significant pain when you first step out of bed in the morning or after sitting for an extended period of time? Because that's going to help me. If the answer is yes, then as the medical assistant who knows the treatment protocol, I'm going to ask what size shoe I wear. I wear a 6.5. I'm going to prep a small night splint. There you go. Ready to go. And don't forget the add-on questions for every patient. For example, why not ask every patient if they ever experience knee, hip, or back pain? I don't know many people who never experience any of those. So this allows you to include biomechanics or at least an introduction in the present or future encounter. Because remember, every patient in your treatment chair only thinks you treat what they have presented with. So educate them. Let them know how much more you can do to improve their quality of life. So I want you to train your staff to determine the most pressing issue of the encounter, of course, without diagnosing, while weeding out all the unrelated stuff. Again, so train that patient that's easily distracted to come back to why they're sitting there and what is bothering them the most, especially if they have multiple complaints. So this allows you to focus on the chief complaint without throwing the entire kitchen sink at them on visit 1. Slow and steady wins the race. Patients who feel overwhelmed or pressured on visit 1 and decline your treatment options will often not return. On the other hand, patients who take you up on every recommendation and are not compliant because you gave them way too much homework, and you know that 25%, if there's too much, they're not going to do it. They're going to return angry or not at all, and be sure to tell all their friends about the negative experience they had in your practice and all the money you took from them. So not every service or product is a one-size-fits-all, so I'm going to suggest that you vet your patients carefully when discussing care plans and making recommendations for products and services, especially cash pay. It is imperative to educate the patient and to make them understand their responsibility is part of the treatment and healing process. So again, scripting is key here, what to say and what not to say, as previously discussed, and keeping expectations realistic is a must. So again, I stress the importance of exuding confidence. I know that some doctors are not natural born salespeople. If you fall into this category and you're just not comfortable, don't worry about it, because if you choose provenly effective products and services that you believe in, there should be no selling. Think about the confidence you convey to a patient with an infection when prescribing an antibiotic and instructing them on the importance of completing the course. Translate that to all the cash products and services that you have or plan to incorporate in your treatment protocols and care plans. Back to scripting again. I really also enjoy the Price is Right, that's what I've called them, training sessions. When I was a little girl, I really just wanted to be on the Price is Right and dress up in fancy clothes and just stand and introduce brand new cars. But I really like to do this kind of training with staff members because they should all know and understand as much as possible about your products and services as possible. Every staff member and doctor should use universal language with some practice poetic liberties when describing and be able to answer frequently asked questions like, is it covered? What's in it? How does it work? How often is it used? When should results be expected? So what about cash pay ancillaries? So now we get into bigger ticket items. So doctors ask my opinion all the time, specifically about lasers. So should I incorporate a laser for pain, for fungus? I don't know. Should I just bite the bullet and do it? Which one's the best? How much is everybody else charging? Does it work? Do patients give pushback? Well, so my response to incorporating any cash pay product or service is a question back to the doctor. I ask if they think it works. If the answer is no, then I'll tell them not to waste their money. If they believe it works, I tell them go for it. It's all about setting realistic expectations for your patients, training team members to understand the technology, efficacy, length of treatment, what's involved, and establishing protocols that maximize results based on compliance. So for some services, homework will be required of the patient. For example, using topical antifungal nail solution, skin cream, and shoe spray in conjunction with the laser, okay? While with others, it's imperative that they discontinue previous or current methods of treatment. An example here would be no icing topical or oral anti-inflammatory medications while undergoing shockwave therapy. So my favorite cash pay ancillary services incorporate proven patient results, practice affordability, meaning no pressure on you as the doctor to sell to make that monthly lease payment. Fast, convenient treatments, which can be performed by staff members once they're thoroughly trained, and training and marketing support continued from the vendor. There should be someone to call if there's a problem, or if you have staff turnover and you want them to do like a little refresher training for your staff. Okay, you want them to help you to make marketing materials for your website, for the office, for mailers, wherever you want it for, they should be able to support you. So Zimmer Shockwave, or as my practices are calling it, Pulse Wave therapy system. We decided that Pulse Wave sounds much nicer than Shockwave. If you have one, anyone, Zimmer, any other kind, you should be using it. It should not just be sitting there collecting dust. Shockwave therapy should not be a last resort. It should be presented right away. Visit one as a viable treatment option. Some patients don't want steroid injections, walking boots, night splints, especially with high deductibles and coinsurance, and most don't want surgery. So don't assume patients will not pay for cash services. They will if they understand the benefits. Patients and consumers are one and the same. They will pay for speed and convenience. So why do I recommend my doctors get Shockwave or incorporate it into their practice? Because you're going to sell without selling your patients on quick and easy. No one wants to go to physical therapy for an hour, 2 to 3 times a week for 6 weeks. The average copay is $40, which adds up to over $600 in out-of-pocket PT costs. So the allotted 15 visits times $40. Shockwave, or we'll call it pulse wave therapy, is about the same. A lot of times less. My doctors usually charge about $500 for the package in a fraction of the treatment time. If patients can obtain the same or better results with 1 5-minute treatment a week, they will opt for it. I know that I would. Make sure that patients understand what's involved and expected of them no matter what the treatment is. So here's an example of a pulse wave therapy waiver that I've created for my practices. It's also in my library that we require patients to sign prior to their initial treatment. It explains what pulse wave therapy is and how it works, how effective it is, how it's performed, why we're considering it, possible side effects, discomfort level during the treatment. And it also says multiple times in the waiver, they must complete the entire course of treatment, which is at least 4 treatments 1 week apart. So it's a package price of $500 for 4 treatments. If after the 4th treatment, there is not significant improvement, we will provide 1 more treatment at no cost. If they wish to pay separately for their treatments, they're going to pay a lot more. It'll be $150 per session, okay? You want patients to complete the entire course of therapy because with some conditions, such as neuroma, that's treated very effectively with pulse wave, patients will feel so much better after 1 or 2 treatments. They might not return for the 3rd or 4th. When their pain returns, they're going to be angry about it. Okay, so you and your team may need more training or a refresher on any ancillary service that you provide, but just giving the Shockwave as an example, it's not just for plantar fasciitis. Whether you have one or are considering incorporating one, you should know it can be used to treat a multitude of conditions such as Achilles tendonitis, insertional, perineal tendonitis, neuroma, wound care, and more. Okay, then think outside the box and why not offer specialty products like Reparal healing sleeves? I have many practices that are doing phenomenally well with Reparal healing sleeves. Patients love them. They come in, they buy multiple. They're for swelling, repetitive stress injuries, sports injuries, tendonitis, degenerative joints. They are non-compressive, no neoprene. They're moisture wicking, breathable, machine washable, easy application. Okay. They're superior to common neoprene sleeves, night sprints, and Strasbourg socks. You can wear them under ankle braces, under cam walkers, alone, any way you want, okay? And Reparal products Again, there's an introduction that has been made, will soon be made available through JockShop Pro as well. Testimonials, just like reviews, are key for your products or services and your practice. So here is a testimonial that my own mother wrote. She wrote it in the form of a nice little email to the owner of Repairl after I got her a knee and a full leg sleeve after she had a knee replacement and months later was still having problems with swelling. I had them sent to my house when she came up here from Florida for a visit, and she loved them after trying several other different types of compression stockings. So I wrote this, and some of you may have received this e-blast that I sent out, but I just wanted everyone to know, if my mother loves it, your patients will too, because my mother's not the easiest to please. So I'm going to wrap it up here so we can have plenty of time for questions. But for more information on my practice engagement program, visit pinnaclepa.com and click on PEP subscription. Or if you want to email me at cindy@pinnaclepa.com. I have weekly, bi-weekly, monthly consulting packages and as needed services available with special pricing for PEP subscribers, including our Price is Right and many other interactive team training sessions. Thank you for joining us this evening. And now we move on to our Q&A.
Thank you, Cindy. That was great. I really, really appreciate that. If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them into the chat or the questions module here within the webinar. I hadn't seen anything come through so far. So, Cindy, that means you must have done a tremendous job of explaining things.
Everyone's just a lot of information, and I talk fast.
That's great. I think we have a few people typing, though, so we'll give it
Oh, they're typing.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's EPAT Zimmer. The question from Dr. Marble. It's Zimmer is RSWT, not ESWT. It's radial shockwave therapy.
So, Cindy, I know we have physicians that ask about that too. You kind of hit on this when you're talking about wanting them to get what they want or what they believe works.
Mm-hmm.
What we talk a lot with the physicians on our platform about, and I want to see if you confirm with this or if you wanted to elaborate on it. It's hard to get the patients bought into what you are proposing if you don't believe in it yourself. Is that
100%? That's why when I get the question all the time, weekly, about lasers, ancillaries, even the Swift microwave, treatment for warts. It's crazy, right? It's like it's microwave therapy for warts. But I have some doctors that are doing tremendously well with it. Why? Because they, first of all, believed it worked, because they read the literature, they understood it. But then once they started doing it, they saw the results. And sometimes it comes down to, okay, if you have shockwave therapy, has anyone in your office, any of your staff members, have you performed that therapy on them so everyone can see how they went from having terrible heel pain to feel so much better? Their neuroma was killing them. They were complaining about it all the time, so much better. No. Okay. Well, then someone has to have some ailment, or someone's family member has to have some ailment that they can come in and treat them, and you'll see. That's all it takes. If you don't believe it works, it sits there. And if your staff thinks that you have incorporated something only because it's bringing in money, it will not move. It just won't.
No, that was great. Thank you. And that ties into a webinar, our last webinar for folks that attended when we talked about new practice startups a couple weeks ago. Same thing with new practice startups for anyone that's new starting up. That's one of the only things we hear is a consistent issue with buying equipment as you're starting up. If you don't have a plan to implement, have the protocols in place to really maximize that investment, we of course recommend that you wait until you're really fully ramped up.
And that's why too, I recommend something like Shockwave, and because it's not a high pressure sales thing. That the monthly payment is less than $400 a month. So if you're offering a $500 package, you sell it to one patient a month, you've more than paid your monthly lease payment, and anything else is cake.
Yep.
So that's how you have to look at it. If you have a payment for something that's $2,000 or $3,000 a month, that's a lot of pressure, and that comes across as high pressure sales when you're talking about it with a patient. Like, it's going to make or break you that month if you can't sell it, and that's not the approach to take. So we're having some comments about how do the repair sleeves work. So it's all about the fabric that the repair sleeves are made out of. And I can tell you, as a person who has perineal tendonitis that flares up time to time, especially when I'm doing a lot of painting and up and down on ladders all the time, like happens quite frequently lately. I will sleep with it on. I will wear it during the day. And I'll tell you that you barely feel the compression, but there is compression there. So it does control the swelling. And the fabric itself has healing properties. To me, it's like magic. They can give you the specifics, the company, about the technology and all the science, but I'm telling you, it works. A few comments on the Extreme RX. People are saying they love it. It's amazing. I was a huge fan of Quanta CBD Muscle Rub. I used to buy it by the case myself, and everyone I knew and I worked out with, we all slathered ourselves up before we worked out. But then, as you know, when companies get bought out and things get diluted in, customer service and products. So Extreme RX came out. Pretty much everyone that was initially with that company went to Extreme, and this product is much stronger, much better, bigger containers. So it's good. Oh, we have Rudy is typing. I'm assuming it's Rudy. There's not too many Rudolphs out there.
And then while we wait for that one, I just popped over to the questions side. Mary had asked, did I hear the DocShop Pro is inventory management software? Is there a cost? So the great news is nope, there's no cost. It's free to use. So the inventory management system is all part of what we call the My Supply Manager. So essentially, anytime you have login credentials with DocShop Pro, which are free, in the entire site, the platform is free to use. Buy as little or as much as you like. So with that, when you log in, you can see, of course, your address and your order history and your cart. But one of the things we always recommend is that before you just add something to cart, if it's something that you know that you plan to order and order frequently, add it to what's called the My Supply Manager. It's just like an Amazon wish list. And then every time you go to order, it's right there. So then you can set the par levels on it. We always need a minimum of this. You can update the usage as you go with it. Anytime you go below the par level, of course, the screen's going to turn red on that item. So it's always there and free to use anytime.
Okay, and I'm just typing to Mary. She asked if this webinar will be available on my website to my subscribers. And I say yes, by about Friday or so. It will be on there. Yes. And I'll also put the presentation in a PDF form on there as well. Okay, let me go back to chats. Do you measure repair sleeves like you would for compression stockings? No, which is so good, because for those of you who have tried to have actual compression stockings, you know that patients will try to return them with like skin and things in them because you didn't measure properly or they couldn't get them on. So no, it's just small, medium, large, extra large, and they have the ankle sleeves and the up to the knee sleeves, the half leg sleeves. And no, they're just generic sizes, and they are very easy to get off and on, and machine washable. I don't throw mine in the dryer, but I think you could. But no, it's great. I mean, if there's a problem where you have swelling, like the Extreme RX, the CBD Muscle Rub has turmeric and arnica, so they're natural anti-inflammatories. So if my perineal tendonitis is flaring up, I put some of the Extreme RX on it because it has the pain reliever and the anti-inflammatory, then put on my repair sleeve, and I'm good to go. They are not different compressions because it's not technically a compression. And the company gets mad at me when I say that they are compression sleeves, because they are not. Rudy, I'm supposed to say they are healing sleeves. And they are. I'm in Canada. I've been trying to use DocShop.
Yeah, well, that's a tough one. About a year ago, we were at a conference, and a lot of Canadian physicians were there. So the long story short is we do not ship for the daily supply side. we don't ship outside the continental US. What a lot of physicians do, I know this isn't really an easy answer. If you have a location you can ship to in the US, you can of course bring it across the border, but you would have to do that yourself. We're exploring that, and we're actually boosting. That's the big change is going to be coming sometime in the next like quarter or two. I can't really say when. We're still exploring all the legalities around it. But for the capital equipment and some of that product line side of things, we do ship those outside the US. So that would be an option, just not the daily supplies. Good question.
I think that might be it, Greg. They're just speechless.
Yep.
Wait a second. I see people typing. Oh, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Dr. Shapiro. Okay. We have another typer. Reparal, is it available to purchase? I have made an introduction between Reparal and Doc Shop. So until that's complete and official, you can order directly through Reparal and then put it all together.
Yeah.
And just order all through Doc Shop. That's really, with the exception of very few vendors that are just specialty products or won't sell through anyone else, it would be much easier to just order everything through one place. What would you say to new associates coming out and how to practice these principles before starting their new job? Dr. Marble, that's a good question. It's hard to convince residents that they're not going to retire on just cutting people open, because reimbursement isn't what it was with surgery. Reimbursement in general from insurance companies is very unpredictable. And so the one and only thing that we can control in our practices is the products and services that we offer, whether they be cash or insurance billed. But for more of my practices than not, cash has been, it's been king, and it continues to be, and it always will be. And we don't have to wait for it, and we don't have to fight for it, and we don't have to worry about which modifiers Blue Cross doesn't like that month. So that would be my answer is, let's look at average reimbursements, and then let's look at if something costs $100 cash and that's what your charge is, that's what your patients are paying. That when your charge for an insurance-based service is $100 and you're reimbursed $32. Will there be links to the specialty vendors be available on the PDF of this presentation? Greta, I will connect with you about that, but I will, if anyone wants information on any of the vendors that I mentioned, you can email me, cindy@pinnaclepa.com, and I will either connect you directly with Doc Shop or put you in touch with the vendor themselves that hasn't quite connected with Doc Shop to figure out how to work it through their platform.
Yeah. I think we brought on 13 new vendors this month, with a few more still coming. So we're bringing on new stuff every day, and that's exactly how a lot of it goes with our new vendor pipeline. Someone like Cindy or another person in the community that finds out about a new product lets us know, and then we work to ramp it into our platform.
Plus, it's good. It's good in every category to have choices.
Yeah.
I've learned a long time ago, if you push a doctor into the corner and say, you have to order from this vendor, they will say, no, I will not, even if it's the only one. So yeah, choices are good. I, of course, have my favorites that have been good to me, good to the industry. Support, training, education, just, customer service to me is equal with price, because you can always get it cheaper, but if there's not anyone there to support you when things go wrong, what good is it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Thank you everyone for the questions, the feedback. Cindy, thank you for leading us tonight. And it looks like we'll be giving everybody 5 minutes back tonight.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be posting a replay to the Doc Shop Pro YouTube channel as well. And you can always watch the replay through all the registration links here.
And it will be in my library as well.
Thank you again. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you.